Gandhi's visit to Champaran and his stay there for long 7 months was a turning point in his life. In the very first part of the video, I told you that Gandhi, when he was about 15 years of age, was not that well known across the country. But his visit to this place, Champaran, and staying there for long 7 months was a turning point. This made him the leader of the masses. This was the beginning of Gandhi's being a leader and also a turning point in the freedom movement of India. We have come to the last part of the lesson, and today this will be the last video where we will discuss how Gandhi's stay in Champaran and the episode in Champaran was a turning point in his life, and we will sum up the lesson today. The Champaran episode was a turning point in Gandhi's life. What I did, he explained, was a very ordinary thing. I declared that the British could not order me about in my own country. Gandhi said that what he did, people may say that, wow, you have done really very wonderful job there. How was it? Gandhi said, I did not do anything that amazing. I did something very ordinary. What was it? He said, I simply told the British that it is my country and here you cannot order me. Your order should not be imposed here. It is my country. So we have also found that Gandhi advised the people there that the first thing to do is to remove the fear from the mind of the people. Unless you are fearless, unless you are free from fear, then going to courts is of no use. He said this thing. Now, again Gandhi is giving some clarification on what it was. He said, but the Champaran did not begin as an act of defiance. The word defiance means disobedience or resistance. Disobedience or resistance. It means that we did not start, the activities in Champaran did not start because we defied the government actions. What we defied, yes, when Gandhi was asked to leave Champaran, he said, I will not go, because you are asking me to do something that is not legal. I have come from Gujarat, I am helping my poor fellows here. What is the wrong here? When from government's end, they did something wrong, then only we resisted it. From our end, we did not start any kind of resistance. This is what he meant when he said, Champaran did not begin as an act of defiance. It grew out of an attempt to alleviate the distress of large number of poor peasants. Alleviate means to make hardship, etc. less. It means to minimize, you can say. To minimize. Gandhi said that we wanted to alleviate, we want to minimize, we want to make the difficulties of the poor peasants less. What did we want to minimize? It was an attempt to alleviate the distress of large number of poor peasants. Poor peasants are living miserable life. They were having a lot of distress in their life. They had no supporters. We wanted to make their hardship, make the difficulty, their misery less. We wanted to minimize the misery of their life. That is what we wanted to do. And in doing it, we had a confrontation with the government. From our end, we did not start any kind of defiance. When the government interfered in our peaceful activities, then only we resisted. And this was the typical Gandhian pattern. This is Gandhian pattern, Gandhian way of activity, his philosophy and the way he acted. What is it? The author said this was the typical Gandhian pattern. What is it? His politics was intertwined with the practical day-to-day problems of the millions. This word is very important. Intertwined. Intertwined. This means closely, very closely attached. Very closely attached. This is what is very interesting. Intertwined means when things, you might have seen in a net, for example, for catching fish or any other kind of net. The thread you see, one thread is in close attachment with the other thread. It is bound with the other one. Or you might have seen some creepers, some plants which as they progress on the body of a tree, they take shelter on a tree, and as they progress, they bind themselves around the tree. This is called intertwining. It means intertwine means very closely attached. Gandhi's pattern, his pattern of activity was that his politics was intertwined with the practical day-to-day problem of the millions. His politics was closely connected with the common people's issues. His was not a loyalty to abstractions. Abstraction means only thoughts, only principles, only long lectures. That there is a saying about politics that politicians are same all over. Someone said like this: politicians are the same all over. They promise to build a bridge where there is no water. At the time of election, they will say, we will do that and this and that. After the election is over, then you go to him and he will say, how can a bridge be built there? There is no river at all. But it is he who earlier he said there will be a bridge. People thought, oh yes, we will have a bridge. And now he is proving to you that there is no chance of making a bridge there because there is no river. Such high-sounding lectures they deliver at the time of election. After the election, you find that you were made fool, and we have been made fool recently in many ways. So then Gandhi's politics was not about this kind of long lectures. His politics was closely linked with the problems, the difficulties that the common people faced. It was a loyalty to living human beings. His loyalty was to human beings. And his cause was the cause of the poor people. In everything Gandhi did, moreover, he tried to mold a new free Indian who could stand on his own feet and thus make India free. Whatever Gandhi did, his main objective was that Indians should be made strong enough to stand on their own feet. This is what we found earlier, that Gandhi said, stop going to law courts. How can court help you if you are not fearless? First thing is to remove fear from your mind. That is the first thing. So Gandhi's objective was to mold. Mold means to shape. He tried to mold a new free India. Mold means to shape. Gandhi wanted to shape some Indians who were free from fear and who were strong enough to stand on their feet. And he said that if this is done, then only India can become free. When individuals will become free, then only they can make their country free. When the human beings, they are not free, they are having a lot of fear in their mind, how can they fight against the powerful British? That was his thought. Early in the Champaran action, Charles Freer Andrews, the English pacifist who had become a devoted follower of the Mahatma, came to bid Gandhi farewell before going on a tour of duty to the Fiji Islands. It is a very interesting thing. There is another lesson for all of us. The point that we are discussing, that Gandhi wanted that people should be able to stand on their own feet. They should be courageous. They should not depend on other people. Here is an example. Here we have got the name of a person, Charles Freer Andrews. Charles Freer Andrews. And who was he? He was a pacifist. You may think, what is a pacifist? A pacifist is a person who is one who is against all kind of war. A person who always works for establishing peace in the world. In a poem you will find that poem is in your syllabus. It is Keeping Quiet. Pablo Neruda is the poet from Chile, and Pablo Neruda is also a pacifist. Gandhi was also a pacifist. Those people who were against war, those people who are the advocates of peaceful coexistence of different communities of people, they are called pacifists. So Charles Freer Andrews was a pacifist, and he was a devoted follower of Gandhi. He was a disciple of Gandhi, and he was on a tour to Fiji Islands. As he was going there, before going, he came to meet his guru Gandhi. Since Gandhi was staying in Champaran, Andrews came to Champaran to meet Gandhi. Another important phrase you have got here is, he came here to bid Gandhi farewell. To bid Gandhi farewell. It means to take leave of Gandhi. When you take leave from somebody, bye-bye, you say, you call it to bid someone farewell or to bid someone adieu. Farewell or adieu is there, A-D-I-E-U. It means to take leave. So this man, he was Gandhi's disciple. He came to Champaran to take leave of Gandhi. And when this man came, all the people in Champaran, they were very happy. See, a British man, Charles here and Luz, a British. We are fighting against British. And a British man is our Gandhi's disciple. And he is not only a disciple, he is so obedient and so sincere a disciple that before going to a foreign country, he has come to Champaran to meet Gandhi, to take leave of him, while Gandhi is fighting against his own community only, the British. So all the people were very happy and they made a proposal. Gandhi's lawyer friends thought it would be a good idea for Andrews to stay in Champaran and help them. They thought if Andrews stay here back with us, he remains with us, we will show to the British that see, someone from your community, he is with us, he supports us. This will be a kind of a glamour for us, this will give us some weightage, some more weightage. Andrews was willing if Gandhi agreed. When this proposal reached Andrews, Andrews said he had no objection. He will be ready to be there, to remain with them. Only thing was that Gandhi, his guru, if Gandhi said yes, you stay, then only he can stay. It is quite natural. He was a very sincere follower of Gandhi, so he was ready. If my guru says stay, I will stay back. Otherwise, not. And what is Gandhi doing? You see, Gandhi is teaching another lesson to us. He is saying, but Gandhi was vehemently opposed. He strongly said no. Why not? He said, Gandhi asked the people, you think that in this unequal fight, it would be helpful if we have an Englishman on our side? This is an unequal fight. The British, this happened earlier. Now we have got that in the lesson, already things are settled. But earlier, when things were not still settled, at that time, this man came and Gandhi then told his people that our fight is unequal. We are the ruled, we are the oppressed class. British, they are the rulers, they have everything, they have government machinery in their hand. So the fight is not equal, it is an unequal fight. It is a fight between the strong and the weak. And you think that if in this unequal fight, we have a British man with us, it would give us some kind of help. It will be helpful if we have an Englishman on our side. This is what you think, Gandhi told his people. And then Gandhi also said, this shows the weakness of your heart. You are not strong in mind. You are weak, that's why you want someone else's help. You are weak, that's why you want to rely on a British. This shows the weakness of your heart. Then Gandhi said, the cause is just. Just means justified, fair. The cause for which you are fighting, what is the cause? Your cause is that those poor sharecroppers, they are unjustly treated by the powerful British landlords. So you are protesting against this, you are fighting this, that is. So your cause is genuine, it is good, it is fair, it is just. If your cause is just, then you must rely upon yourselves and win the battle. If you realize that yes, what I am doing for the right cause, there is nothing wrong with me. If you are convinced about it, if your cause is just, then you should rely on yourself, not on someone else. Then Gandhi said, you should not seek a prop in Mr. Andrews because he happens to be an Englishman. You should not seek a prop. Prop means a means of support. Prop is means of support. I will give you a beautiful example. For example, you might have seen some houses, some huts, kacha houses made of straw and bamboo, etc. And when they become old, they start falling. And the owner of the house is not able to build a new one. So he takes some poles, etc. And with the pole, he gives some support to the house so that the house does not fall. This is a kind of, you can say, a support. This stand is also supporting this board. So this stand is supporting this board, this stand is a prop. Prop means the means of support. Gandhi said, you want to use Mr. Andrews as a means of support, that you want to rely on him because he is a British. That shows weakness of your heart. If your cause is just, if you are working for the right thing, then believe in yourself and then try to win the battle. Rajendra Prasad said that he had read our minds correctly. Here he refers to Gandhi. Rajendra Prasad said that Gandhi was able to read our mind. He studied our mind. What we actually had in our mind, our main intention, the thing that was in the bottom of our heart, Gandhi was able to read it, was able to realize it. And we had no reply. When Gandhi gave all this logic, we had no reply. Gandhi in this way taught us a lesson in self-reliance. That is very important. Gandhi in this way taught us a lesson in self-reliance. That you have to be self-reliant. You have to be dependent on yourself, on your own feet. Why depend on someone else? Now we have come to the end of it. The last sentence is self-reliance, Indian independence, and help to sharecroppers were all bound together. In this lesson we have found that the author is saying that Gandhi's stay in Champaran and the way he liberated the poor people from the bondage of the landlords. In this whole episode, three things are interlinked. What are those three things? Gandhi taught us a lesson in self-reliance. Remove the fear from your heart. Be self-reliant. Don't depend on others. One thing. Second thing is, it was a part of Indian freedom movement. British for the first time realized the power of the Indians, that the Indians also had unity. And then another thing that is interlinked is help to sharecroppers. Gandhi helped the sharecroppers, and the whole fight was a part of Indian freedom movement. And then Gandhi taught the people a lesson in self-reliance. So from this lesson, whatever things we have learned is that, one thing is that self-reliance. You have to, the teachings of this lesson teaches us these things. One is self-reliance. To be fearless. You have to remove fear from your mind. And what else did we learn? We learned that determination should be there. Determination is taught to us by whom? Firstly, it was taught to us by Rajkumar Shukla, a poor peasant, illiterate person, but he went to Lucknow. He remained with Gandhi. He did not leave Gandhi's side. He eventually was able to bring Gandhi to Champaran. Determination. This, even if you are not having formal education, if you have determination, this is a very important feature of one's personality. So Gandhi has taught us that we should be self-reliant, we should be fearless, we should have determination, and then unity is another thing. Unity is strength. We have found that those lawyers, when they say we will follow you to jail, Gandhi said the battle of Champaran is won. So these are some of the lessons that we have learned from this Indigo. Learn the answer. I will give you some answers later. Question answers you will learn, but these lessons that you have got from this, you should use them in your whole life. Self-reliance, being fearless, determination, unity, and you have to apply logic. Don't be emotional. When Charles Pierre came, some people said, let him remain with us, let him help us. But Gandhi was not like this. He did not speak emotionally. He applied logic and justification, and then he made the people understand that no, don't say that. If you do it, it means you are not having confidence on yourselves. You are relying on others. So you have to act in a judicious way, in a justified way, not depending on emotion all the time. Certain names are there. You have to know who is what. These names will come now. These names you have to remember well, and who was what you have to remember. See, Rajkumar Shukla, he played a very important part. Rajendra Prasad, who became the President of India after independence, the first President of India. J.D. Kripalani, Professor Malkani, J.Z. Hoyt, Kasturbai, Devadas, Sir Edward Gate, Brij Kishore Babu, Maulana Mazharul Haq, Mahadev Desai, Narhari Parikh, Charles Pierre Andrews. These names, any question may come, who was Charles Pierre Andrews? Or who was Edward Gate? Or in what context did Gandhi make mention of Brij Kishore Babu and Maulana Mazharul Haq? These type of questions may be there. Apart from this, there are some place names like Motihari, Champaran, Lucknow, Ahmedabad, Sevagram. Then a country is there, Fiji Islands. So all these people and the places, and in what context, what was mentioned, these small things you have to know really very well, otherwise you cannot answer all the questions. Read the text very thoroughly. Whenever you find any difficulty, you may go through these videos, which I have made 7 videos, and I have made a detailed discussion. Still, if you find any difficulty, any queries there, you can make a comment, you can contact me. I will be happy to to be with you, to help you in understanding the things better. Thank you very much for being with me.